Welcome in to Greenville Grit, Greenville residents in touch on 103.7 WTIB. This is the local show that keeps you connected and in touch with the issues that affect what's happening in your community. Greenville Grit is sponsored by Ribeyes, Kid Construction, and Greenville Toyota. Now, here are your hosts for Greenville Grit, Terry Williams and Michael Overton.
Good evening and welcome to Greenville Grit. I'm Terry Williams.
And I'm Michael Overton. Terry, good to see you this evening.
And
Here we
you.
are 1 week away from Christmas.
Oh, I know.
Cannot believe it.
I'm not ready yet.
Oh, I know. But speaking of Christmas and Christmas break, you guys are on. We have a special guest tonight, President Dr. Dennis Massey from Pitt Community College. Thank you for coming on the show and being here. Did you guys start your Christmas break today or tomorrow?
Oh, no.
The students,
next week.
Okay.
Well, the students have been out this week. but,
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
We're in session through Friday.
Oh, wow.
Wow,
Well,
okay.
I tell you, it's amazing it's come up this fast.
know.
And seems that the older I get, the faster it comes. So we always, we're going to have a good discussion with Dr. Massey, some of the things going on with Pitt Community College and some of the exciting things happening there.
That's
I've
right.
had the opportunity for the last year and a half to serve on the Board of Trustees, and it's been a great learning experience and really an eye-opening experience to the importance of community colleges within the state. So in order to do that, we got to thank the sponsors
That's
for coming
right.
on this show. So thank you so much for Kid Construction Group at kcgbuildgreen.com. Kid Construction Group is the
Green Builder.
That's right. If you're looking for new home renovation or new construction or just want to have a highly efficient home, give Bill Kidd a call. You can also see him on Facebook
That's
under
right.
Kid Construction Group.
Exactly.
Also got to thank Greenville Toyota. If you're looking for a new Toyota or Scion vehicle or a new used car, go see Craig Gois and the Greenville Toyota team. They're across from Fresh Market on Memorial Drive. You can reach them at 321-3000 or greenvilletoyota.com. We have the Overton Group, real estate professionals serving all of eastern North Carolina, from Raleigh to the coast, and business brokerage, commercial leasing and sales, residential brokerage, and property management. And our favorite, Ribeyes Steakhouse.
Ribeyes.
Gotta thank
Not our
Ribeyes.
favorite sponsor, our
No.
favorite steaks
Favorite
and
restaurant.
salads.
It's our favorite restaurant. We're just talking about steaks.
That's right.
But if you're looking for a good steak, good salad bar, go visit the guys there at the corner of Fire Tower in Arlington. If you mention the Greenville Grit, you get a surprise. So we're going to take this quick 2-minute commercial break. We'll come back and we will start talking to Dr. Massey about all things Pitt Community. Welcome back to the Greenville Grit. I'm Michael Overton along with my co-host Terry Williams. Terry, we've got a great opportunity to have Dr. Dennis Massey from Pitt Community College on the show today. Again, Dr. Massey, thank you for coming on and spending the next 25 or so minutes with us.
I'm glad to be here.
Well, one of the big things that went on in 2013, I know we're talking here, we are at the end of 2014, was the bond referendum. A lot of plugging on that, and we're very blessed that it went through and passed. The people in Pitt County supported it. So why don't you tell people, though, when that bond referendum goes through and the money that is going to be, that the public is paying for, what is the focus of what those funds are going to go for?
Well, first, I want to thank all the voters who helped us get the 64% majority for passage of that. And what we based that bond referendum campaign on were two things, really. Number one is a science building. The science building is very comprehensive. It will combine biology, physics, chemistry, and biotechnology. It will also have some elements related to the workforce, and we certainly have biopharma in a big way
right.
in our area. That's about $18 million for that part of it. So that's the lion's share of the $20 million. And the rest of it is for a law enforcement training facility near campus, relocating from the Greenville Center near Parker's Barbecue and moving closer to campus on the other side of Sam's Club in the current Champions facility. And we'll hopefully be able to do that next summer and get them set up for fall start.
Will anything change in the programs for both the science side of things as well as the BLET when they go to Champions?
Well, we are the most crowded of all 58 community colleges. I've said that many times. And so what it'll allow us to do is breathe a little bit more. We'll be able to diversify our sciences and move some of them, the lion's share of them, into this new facility that will be on the Bowen Farm. It'll also allow us to relocate and expand our biotechnology program. The areas that will mostly expand will be the higher level sciences, the microbiology, the biotechnology that goes directly into things that Patheon, Maine Pharma, Hospira, and others will need in terms of employees. And I think that it will also create some more livable space in the health sciences building, the William Fulford building, because right now they're so jammed up. Our occupational therapy, our respiratory therapy assistant programs are so tight, they'll be able to spread out a little bit more.
Well, you mentioned space needs. That's one of the things I've learned on being on the board is out of 58 community colleges, we are the 7th largest in the state.
That's right.
But we're dead last in the amount of space per student.
Right.
So I
How
understand the
many
importance
students
of that.
are there enrolled this year?
The head count this fall is right around 9,000.
Okay.
Last year in 13-14, we were slightly over 12,600 students throughout
Okay.
the year.
Right.
And that's duplicated student enrollment.
Okay.
Unduplicated.
And that I know that had been several years of continuous growth, so we definitely have seen kind of the plateau of things. I mean, how do you feel about future enrollment and what's happening there? Community college really statewide.
Well, community colleges across the country are so sensitive to the economy. And when the recession hit, that was the trigger for the community colleges to ramp up. And we've seen a big, steady increase over the last 5 years. Now we are starting to level off, but it's not so much in terms of head count as in full-time equivalents, because we're seeing more part-time students. We're seeing people work part-time, go to school part-time. We see people get back into the workforce but still need the training and upgrading. We're also seeing a big increase in our continuing education, our business and industry training.
Well, I think you said on the number standpoint that Terry just asked for the full year last year around 12,000. We're probably expecting somewhere close to the same thing over the next year. But
Right.
we also have, was it around 10 or 11,000 additional people that do elective credits?
Yeah, 12,000 actually.
Wow.
It's almost neck and neck between credit and non-credit. So our continuing education program is about 12,000 in programs like Small Business Center, in programs in business and industry training, the non-credit certification, short courses that people need to upgrade their skills and really be more functional members of our society, workforce.
I think with everything with Patheon, the expansion they had, and really the science building could not come at a better time.
Right.
If you think about one of the focuses, the city wants to discuss in the future doing a medical tech park. We've got Patheon is expanding. Maine Pharma is continuing to invest in the area. And so for the high level, and I think it's a good lead in too of really the purpose of why community colleges exist and the importance of what they do to support the local community. And then I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about the funding, but let's talk about the importance of the community colleges, why they exist, kind of where they came from, and just a brief history of that.
Well, community colleges came out of junior colleges, 2-year schools, night schools, things where working people could go ahead and get an education and continue their livelihood. Gradually, they focused on technical and career and technical issues, and Pitt Tech has its history in that. Started in 1961. They started credit programs here. Eventually, they added on the university transfer component. That was in the 70s, early 80s. So we are a complex, or what we call a comprehensive community college. We do the credit, we do the non-credit, we do university transfer and technical education. We do GED, adult high school equivalency work. We really are many things to many people. That's one thing we have to kind of watch is we don't get too spread out. But that is our mission, is to serve the community. So we do a lot of programming, not just at the Winterville campus, but all over the county. And we're looking to expand in that area.
I know one of the things that was surprising when I first came on is the way that community colleges are funded. And a lot of people,
Right.
it really
right.
is, and I think it'd be great to kind of talk about that just very briefly and help me or correct me where I'm wrong, but the county, and the reason that there was a bond for people to request it, the county supports and builds the buildings,
That's right.
but the state supports the faculty and the education aspect of it.
And the equipment, really the state provides everything but the facilities, the utilities, and the public safety. Those are the primary elements that the county provides. Out of our total budget, about $43 million comes from the state, about $6 million from Pitt County, and that $6 million does not include the bond referendum, which are the big capital projects that come across the way periodically.
That's crazy.
So it is. It is crazy. And so, I mean, you know, really, when you were talking just a moment ago about the science building, about different things, I just see bells go off that it's an absolute connection to the economic development of our county is what you all are doing. And I think that importance of that came out with the bond and why it was passed. I think people realized you all are setting the groundwork. When companies come and want to know how they can expand, I think they're going to look to you first to see what you all are doing for the community.
Well, I thank you, Terry, but you know, really what it is, it's the great assets we have here in the K through 12 system, East Carolina University and the community college working in concert because we're very aligned. We are partners.
Right.
We're closer now than we ever have been. And I think you're exactly right. We do provide a lot of the immediate skills that people need. We give a lot of people an opportunity. Access has been one of our primary missions. We want to take people from where they are and lift them up into employable, very functional members of our society.
Well, one of the, probably in the last 2 or 3 weeks, there's been a lot of things in the paper about the early high school.
Right.
You know, I know a little bit about it, not a lot, but I think it'd be good to inform the public of what is it, how does it work, who are the people that are going to be eligible to be part of that. So,
Well, the early college high school is something that's been done across the state in many community colleges and a few universities. It's kind of an embellishment on the what we call career and college promise, which is providing coursework for high school students either on the campus or at their high schools. You know, we have something like 360 high school students that we're serving this fall term.
Wow.
Can you believe
That's
that?
great.
I mean, when you look at the total credit production just of high school students, it's enormous, and it's going to grow.
but the fall term, is that part of the early high school? then?
No, the early college high school doesn't start till next fall.
Wow.
And there we'll add on 75 students the first year, and then 75 additional students every year for the next 5 years. The program is a 5-year program at the end of which a student will get a high school diploma and an associate degree
Wow.
at the same time. And plus, it will all be paid by the state of North Carolina. There are no tuition costs. And Superintendent Lenker has been very partner-oriented, and we are looking to ramp this up. In fact, they're concluding the interviews for the principal for that new program, the early college high school. They're going to be recruiting the counselor and other staff, and they'll be starting next fall, so there's a lot of preparation.
So how does that change the curriculum for a high school student when they're in their early high school program?
The big way it changes, it diversifies and opens up a lot of the college courses. Usually the first 2 years are pretty much high school focused, high school course focused. After that, it's more a blend of high school and university or college level courses. Some of them are associate applied sciences and going towards specific skills. Some of them are university transfer. So it just depends on what track they're in. And at the end, we'll have 375
Wow.
high school students
So
right
it's-
on our campus, not counting the ones who are at the regular high schools that are taking our courses.
So I'm assuming by that, you say it's a 5-year
Yes.
program, so they're starting what, freshman, sophomore
Starting
year?
freshman year.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll have freshmen on our campus next fall. The following fall, we'll have freshmen and sophomores. So it's accumulating.
And will they
growing
be
program.
transferring back and forth between the campus and the high school, or that
No.
there'll actually be a section of the college?
It's a separate high school.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
That
that's
sounds
a
great.
decision they have to make about, you know, what type of high school experience do they want.
But it's
And-
not just everybody
but-
that can go. I mean, I
and no,
think
you have to
qualify, right?
apply and
That-
qualify.
It's going to have a focus of STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. It will have as its primary population first generation college students, people that perhaps might not go to college otherwise, although there'll be a mix of people from all 6 of the high schools.
So when you were talking about they're able to take classes now at high school or on the campus, is all of that in a classroom or is some of that online?
There's some of it online, but most of the courses that the high school students take are live.
Okay. Well, as competitive as it's getting to get into universities and so forth, that will give a lot of students a head start, probably, make them more competitive.
Right.
So.
And another big thing that the community colleges have done is emphasize low cost, high quality, but low cost. And our tuition is a fraction of what the universities is. So I think for that reason also we've been favored by many parents and students in the last few years because cost effectively with the articulation agreements with the UNC schools, it's a good deal.
Sounds great.
Well, when you get into, I know we talked earlier in the show about the current enrollment, about where it is. What are you seeing trend-wise? I know we've kind of seen the plateau come off, as we mentioned, but over the next we grew so good for 5 or 6 years. What do you foresee over the next 5 or 6 years?
Well, we have large and complex health sciences programs. Those will probably grow slightly. But there we'll focus on quality and the important needs that Vidant and other providers here locally have. I think the biggest gains will be in the advanced manufacturing, in the areas where we're hoping to attract new business and industry to our area, and Patheon is a good example of a big increase for our area in workforce in the next 3 to 4 years. And then also in the university transfer, I think more and more students will want to pursue the first 2 years at the community college. We just approved a new articulation agreement with the UNC system, and East Carolina is very transfer friendly. So, it's again a good example of partnership.
That's what I was going to ask you about, the relationship between East Carolina and Pitt Community, and obviously being in the same town. How has that been in the past and versus where you're seeing it now versus where it's going in the future?
Well, I can only speak to the time that I've been here, and I've seen a gradual strengthening of the relationship. Right now, 88% of the students that go through Pitt Community College and transfer to East Carolina do extremely well. That's a higher percentage than probably their native students. So what we're seeing is a lot of good preparation at the community college, a welcoming attitude on the part of East Carolina University. They are one of the largest schools in the system in terms of transfer students to begin with, and we're their largest partner.
How about that? That's awesome.
I think I think it's interesting. Again, I've learned so much just being on there and seeing how the community college system works. I know I've got some of the comments you put on here about the demographics and the majors. What do you see when the students come in? Are a good proportionate number or first time in their family college students? Do you see that in general, or is it a blend of everybody?
Well, there's incredible diversity. We talked about that before we went on air. We probably have the biggest range of age. Our average age is 26. A big range in ability, and we're kind of morphing into a little different placement test approach with our students. But we know that students have to perform at a particular level or they're not going to succeed in college. One way we're addressing that is to be partnering with the high schools, especially the Pitt County high schools, to make sure that they're providing the essential skills and abilities that students need to succeed in our coursework, our beginning coursework. We're seeing a big increase in the number of high-level students coming out of the high schools. When I came, we never offered Calculus 3, the third semester of calculus. Now we offer multiple sections.
Wow,
we
good.
offer organic chemistry. We offer a lot of things that were rather uncommon in the past. So I think you're going to see...
What do you think attributes that? Is it the economy or just the growth of the community college system?
I mean, one is convenience. We are local and we are accessible, and students can get into our programs, they have to have some lead time, but it's not so cumbersome. Cost is obviously
Cost
an
is
issue.
the big thing.
I think that the articulation agreement, the improving articulation with the universities has been a factor. I think there's a lot of those. And also, I think that students sometimes take time to decide what they want to major in.
Right.
And maybe it's better to do that at a community college where you've got lots of options and you don't have to plunge into a separate college right away.
I know you guys have been very aggressive and successful too. If you look at the trend of people staying in college, not just starting it, but staying in, retaining, and that's good for the community colleges. Obviously, we need the people to go to continue to support the community college, but also to get them through their education, to give them a better opportunity to succeed in life. What trends have you seen on that success rates?
If our enrollment is plateauing, our graduation rate is increasing, and increasing pretty sharply. And we've got some funding from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation in a program called Completion by Design. In that, we're studying what the loss points are. When do students drop out? How can we intervene to support them and do everything we can to keep them on track? And I think we've been successful in doing that. We also have had a program called CAP, Career Academic Planning. We know students have to have some idea of what's the goal, what are they studying for, what occupations and things can they do with that, and sometimes they don't have that information. We're going to be expanding in that area. So it's a combination of skills, of goals, and then our ability to support the students.
And I think, don't they go through an orientation process now and to really educate them about what you guys do offer and the benefits?
And we're making that mandatory this year, our new student orientation, because we've seen in our research, and this is one of the completion by design results, that those students who go through the student orientation are much more successful than students who don't.
So we've talked a lot about the college university side of it, but what about, like, with the economic downturn? We heard a lot about enrollment increasing in the vocational side of what's being offered. I know construction management still programs, but other programs, electrical training, I don't even know what they're all called, but what can you tell us about that side of it?
Well, Terry, actually, construction has picked up again. And, construction technology is back to almost its level before the recession. The programs that have really increased are, number one, welding.
Right.
Welding has just boomed. We offer welding day and night at Pitt Community College.
Wow.
And we have employers like the Roberts Company, like NACO, like others who depend upon welders, and not just one kind of welding. There's pipe welding, there's more the regular flat welding. Cherry Point depends on welders for some of their work. So welding is the number one growth area. Number two is automotive. People are keeping their cars longer.
Right.
And the cars are getting more complicated.
Yes.
That's right.
And so we've seen a big ramp up, especially with our new construction industrial tech building, with interest and retention
I
within
think
the automotive
you guys,
program.
I remember seeing some advertising. Y'all had done something with Richard Petty,
Right.
and it looked like they had a really good time doing that. I guess of rebuilding one of the old race cars. But
Sure. Well, we've got one of our graduates who's a right-hand person for Petty Industry. So we've got an in with Petty.
Wow.
you do. Well, I think it's a good
That's
time to
very
take our second
interesting.
commercial
Yeah.
break. So we're going to take the next 2 minutes off, come back, and we're going to wrap up and talk a little bit about the foundation. Be right Welcome back to the Greenville Grit. Michael Overton along with co-host Terry Williams and our special guest, Dr. Dennis Massey of Pitt Community College. Dr. Massey, you've got probably 2.5 minutes left in the show. There's some things you wanted to talk about with Foundation and I think another subject. So let's go ahead and...
Well, just to follow up on a few comments that we made before about technical programs, I mentioned welding and
Automotive.
But, you know, there are a lot of other technical programs that we offer. Machining technology. They have trouble finding machinists in our community. Programs in computer networking and computer programming. There are many technical paths that people can take. Gaming and simulation.
Right,
I found
that's
out
big
we've
now.
got a new company out near Practicon that is booming, 50 employees. Parents need to know that technical education is a very viable route for the future. And if a person goes and gets skills and gets a job, they can usually ramp that up if they want to later on to get a bachelor's degree.
Right.
But they can get into hands-on activity and income-producing activity very quickly.
And they can get on your website to
Yes.
see all of the different technical studies that are offered,
Yes.
as well as the other classes and CE credits that are out
That's
there that
right.
are offered.
Right.
Well, let's talk and finish up. We've got about a minute left on the foundation. You've got a foundation event coming up?
We do. March 6th is going to be a big evening on Pitt's campus. We're going to have our spring event. It's going to be a combination dinner, dance, demonstrations of NASCAR-like vehicles
Wow.
and some very exclusive high-end vehicles, and it's going to be in our Construction Industrial Technology building. And more information about that, but it'll be on Friday, March 6th.
And the importance really of the foundation is to raise money for the foundation, which ultimately supports scholarships for the students.
Yeah, you heard just yesterday almost $300,000 given out in student scholarships just this fall term.
And I think,
Wow,
I know
that's
you do
huge.
the Christmas event at
The holiday
at
show.
Holiday
Oh,
show.
yeah.
Right.
At the convention center has been very successful and raised, I think, almost $100,000 for
That's right.
scholarships. So it's fantastic. So we need to continue to support Pitt community and
That's
what
right.
they offer and what they contribute really to our community. But to wrap the show up, Terry, we always got to thank the sponsors
That's
again.
right.
They're the people that support us. Ribeye Steakhouse. We've got Kidd Construction Group, kcgbuildgreen.com, Greenville Toyota, and the Overton Group. Again, Dr. Massey, thank you for coming
you so
on and being
much for
part of the
being here.
show. And wish you a Merry Christmas and everybody listening.
Merry Christmas,
so we will
everybody.
see you back after the first of the year. Just be sure to tune in again.